Say honor everyone. Honor to everyone that's watching. Honor to everyone that's about to join in right now. Honor to you all. Hope all is well. Hope you all have been doing well. Hope your day has gone well or is going well, you know. And I wish you guys nothing but the best for you and your loved ones. With that being said, as y'all can see by the picture right here, you know what we're about to get into. Okay. I was supposed to have done it yesterday, but I ain't gonna lie, I felt mentally drained, felt drained. So I said, let me do it today, and came across a whole bunch of stuff, and this is crazy, crazy, right? So I just had to clear my my mental space, right? Because I was going through some issues with some, well, I thought was friends. So yeah. With that being said, this is DarkManX Tv. I am an Ahuak American, in colonial terms, what they call an Arawak Indian. With that being said, I say peace, love, light to you all. Welcome, welcome everyone. Uh, to Sean Allen, I am Q, Zakiba, Indigo Bro, Storm Royal, John Lester, Starstrike, Nadine Alexander, Khan Dev. Honor to you all. Honor to you all. Storm Royal. Okay. Honor to everyone that's watching also. All right, so let's get into it, right? So as y'all can see by the image that I put up, unfit human traits such as feeble-mindedness, epilepsy, criminality, insanity, alcoholism, pauperism, and many others. Now, if you guys don't understand what's happening, what's going on, your governors and mayors are pushing eugenics on you. All right, and it's obvious that your president is fighting this shit. Okay, this is why he doesn't do none of the shit that they say for him to do at the end of the day. Now, I say your president for those who are still under the jurisdiction of the corporation. This is a eugenics fight. Oppositions that's for it and oppositions that's not for it. And the states that are for eugenics are the states that are talking about this fake as hell COVID-19 thing. It is just a fictitious thing so that they can push through eugenics. Now, well, how do you say that, Darkman? Just follow the crumbs. Follow the crumbs, because if you gather enough crumbs of a bread, you can make a whole goddamn slice. You know what I mean? So just follow the crumbs. You gather enough crumbs, you can make a loaf of bread. Whole goddamn loaf. Right? Now, Pete. Keywords. Feeble mindedness. So for years they've been spraying chemtrails in the sky, or they've been poisoning the water supply, right? With the tritium in the water supply. They've also made the water turn the soft water into hard water, which also affects the mind, cause brain fog and all these things. GMO foods, which Bill Gates push, cause brain fog also as well. GMO foods is really not good for the human body, especially the melanated man and woman. If the food source in your natural habitat, in your natural environment is tampered with, so is your genetics. Your genetics is also going to be tampered with also as well. You are what you eat. And if your ancestors came from a specific hemisphere, then your ancestors is their genetics is made up of the food from that hemisphere. Okay? Now, just pay attention. Bear with me, y'all, because it looked like this is going to be a long live, right? Well, I'm going to try my best to make it two parts, okay? Let me also gather my thoughts because I'm still bothered by certain events that was happening this week. But I promised I was going to do this, so let me do this for y'all. All right. Now, alcoholism. Now, if you notice, you hear mayors like Bellagio, governors like Cuomo, and his staff will hint that the most affected areas of COVID-19. Now, let me make this clear: coronavirus 2019. You are now in 2020. Coronavirus 2019. You are now in 2020. Okay? Let that sink in for a moment. All right. Now, you'll hear them say, well, the black community, the African American community is the hardest hit. The hardest hit. We know Bill Gates is a eugenist. What is a eugenist? Population control. But it is strategical population control. They pick and choose which populations they want to control. They pick and choose which peoples they want to breed together. Now, the social distancing has to deal with this. If you're social distancing, there's going to be less interracial intermixing going on. If you're social distancing, right, males and females are going to have less interactions with each other. Okay. On this list, they have alcoholism. Which communities do they have on every block a liquor store? You see, now y'all going to see that everything that has been done to the American Indian is strategic. From changing your identity to black and African American to putting up the liquor stores in your community. Okay, insanity. How many times when you stand up for yourself or your rights, they claim you're insane and lock you in an insane asylum? Criminality. In the 1960s, 19 in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, the highest rate of people locked up in the prison system were Caucasians. All of a sudden, when Bill Clinton did the three strikes rule, the three strikes, the folks that they kept locking up were Negroes. And now you became the majority in the prison system. It's like over probably about, I think, about 4 million Negroes locked away in prison. Okay? Pay attention. Now, this is why they perpetuate the violence or the numbers of violence in Chicago the way they do. And don't trust every Negro face that come in front of that camera to, oh yeah, I was witness to this, but they can't show no proof. You have a lot of Negroes that believe in eugenics also as well. Pay attention, y'all. This is gonna get crazy. Um, they have pauperism. What did your governors and your mayors do? They shut down all the businesses to create more poorer class people. Then they're picking and choosing which ones they want to open, and then they're limiting the access that one can have to those stores when they do open. Okay? The businesses, if this is coronavirus 2019, or this is a virus, alcohol like rum, tequila kills viruses. Heat like the sun, sea salt like what's at the beach kills viruses in seconds. They're banning you from those places. They shut down the bars. Okay? Uh, Same way as color. Guinea pigs. If all marriages were eugenic, we could breed out most of this unfitness in 3 generations. It takes 3 generations to breed out predominantly what is considered to be the Negroid genetic to look more Caucasian. It takes 3 generations to breed out the Caucasian genetic to look more Negroid. Pay attention, yo, this shit, yeah. Oh man. What else do we have in here? Okay, let's pay attention to words like inherited also, because it goes back to the land. Okay. It says many others run in families and okay, let me just read a thing from the top to the bottom. Unfit human traits such as feeble-mindedness, epilepsy, criminality, insanity, alcoholism, pauperism, and many others run in families and are inherited in exactly the same way as color in guinea pigs. Now, more abnormalities run in specifically folks on the eastern side of the hemisphere. In the eastern hemisphere, more abnormalities run in their genetics than it did with folks here in the western hemisphere. Now, this is why they GMO'd your environment to go against you. Okay, so this is why everywhere they went, they chopped down the trees. Everywhere they went, they contaminated the water supply. Everywhere they went, they sprayed chemicals in the air. Every time you went to the doctor's office and they injected you with a vaccine that had mercury in it. Mercury causes mental problems in a child. Chemtrails causes mental problems in a child. So they had a GMO environment here in the Americas for you to seem and fit all of these criteria here that they push. Now, our ancestors dealt with alcohol, but alcohol was used as a medicine. We didn't drink it because we said that we don't drink spirits. That's what we called it. Okay? So who were drinking alcohol? It wasn't us. But when you put one through stress, take away one's economy from them, one's job, their livelihood away from them, then it puts stress on the house, it puts stress on the folks in the house, and they're going to turn to cigarettes. They're going to turn to alcohol. They're going to turn to drugs. Okay? Eugenics. All of this is eugenics. All right. Um. Okay, let's start getting into some stuff here. Let me go back to my list. We're gonna start back from the book that I was reading before when they kept tampering with the sound. All right. So the last live we did, they literally was editing out things that I was saying. Now, when you hear like the sound is breaking up, that's because someone is in on our feed recording also what we're saying as well. So that's where some of the interference is coming from also, right? Um so yeah. So let's just ask the creator to give us a good live this time. Let me look at these links and then hit the screen share for you guys, all right? All right. Honor copper hot stuff. Honor brother. Honor. Okay. Which book were we reading? It was this book. All right, let me pull up back this book. We're gonna get into it. Oh, we're gonna get into it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're back on that page. All right. All right, let me make this bigger. Give me a second, y'all. I'll hit the screen share in a few. Let me just prepare up, get this ready. Okay, where's my stuff? Oh, about to say, why couldn't I find it? All right, here we go to screen share. We're gonna start back with the book, and then we're gonna get into everything else. Now, keywords to highlight, right? When we read along, I want y'all to highlight if you see words like social, highlight if you see words like inborn, highlight if you see words like alcohol, right? Highlight those words, write them down, okay? Commercial, write those words down. Let's write them down, okay? You're gonna see a lot of you're gonna see. They, like I said, everything is double speech with these people. So your mayors and your governors that's been pushing this whole corona shit, it's a eugenics operation that they pushing to inject you with a vaccine that will leave you sterile. They're sterilizing you, sterilization, so that you can't produce and have children. All right, that's what it is, and that's what Bill Gates is about. That's what he did when he was in Africa, and that's why he can't go take his ass back to certain parts of Africa right now. They want to kill him. Those who seek to introduce a fresh policy. Now, what have they introduced this year? Fresh policies consistently for COVID-19. No, Dark Man, that's not true. It is not. You know what? Let me go back into my goodie bags of policies. Also, give me a second. I just want to knock this shit straight home to show you that they got you killing yourselves, and not only do they got you killing yourselves because it is population control, they're also selecting who should breathe and who shouldn't breed. Now you got breed as in bringing forth a child, getting pregnant, and breed as in breathing, breathe in, as in the air, right? Remember, they already started creating things called air in a can. You don't believe me? Up in Colorado, they sell air in a can. In China, they sell air in a can in China. Okay, they're gonna charge you to fucking live. They already started charging you to live. This is what this whole thing is about. That's why your Governor Cuomo can let the police and indicate to the police, beat the shit out of them if they're not wearing a mask. Bill Blasio is the same thing. They're eugenists. But Bill Blasio got a biracial children. So what? What does that mean? You're looking at shit from a racial standpoint, and that's why you will never get it. That's why you will never get it. All right, I'm going to also pull up my other links. Let me go into my other links to get all that shit. All that shit. All of it. We go into it. Give me a second, y'all. I'm going to move the thing from the screen so that y'all can see the book too. All right? I'm going to remove it. So don't think I forgot. Where are my links? Let's see if this is it. Yep, I got them. I got them. Bills or policies, policies or bills. All right, don't forget that. Okay. Now let's come back to the let's remove this thing from the thing so that you guys can see the book. All right. Let's go back into it. So they're attacking our platforms hardcore now, right? They're not even. It's not like a couple months ago where they tried to do it discreetly. They just deleted Super Sly, Nick, and I think they also unsubscribed Curry like from our platform, this platform, right? Like I wouldn't notice it, and I literally watched them do it when I was coming live. So this is what they're doing now. They're getting rid of like all the major platforms that subscribe to me. They're deleting them, and it's so funny that these are the ones that they targeted, the same ones that certain ones have issue with, right? That's crazy to me. Chris Reed, honor. All right, so let's get back to this. Okay. Those who seek to introduce a fresh policy into the regulation of human affairs must have clearly before them what end they desire to attain. By so doing, and if they wish to commend their policy to the majority, you're the majority, the one that doesn't know nothing, the ones that don't know the system or the world that they live in, you're the majority. And their fear is for you uniting, right? You're producing too many children now. They should be prepared to demonstrate that the end itself is desirable. And that by the means proposed there is some hope of moving towards it, moving towards the end. Wow. There are some who would claim that the ultimate goal of eugenics is a patriotic one, namely to increase the commercial and fighting efficiency of the nation. We do not, however, intend. Now, commercial goes back to businesses, people. Okay? Remember, the mayors and governors have been shutting down the businesses and dictating how they open and don't open, which is illegal. It's against the law. But because they claim that there's a pandemic going on, that gave them a loophole in the law to do a lot of the things that they're doing. Okay? But no one is checking them. No one is asking them true and real questions because the reporters that are at these live streams, that are at these press conferences, work for them. Okay? Work for the same corporations that funded their campaign. So those reporters aren't going to ask real questions. They never will. All right. Anyway, there are some who would claim that the ultimate goal of eugenics is a patriotic one, namely to increase the commercial and fighting efficiency of the nation. We do not, however, intend to advocate it on the grounds, but would rather recommend it as a road to increased happiness for the human race, or at any rate as a means of preventing much unnecessary misery. Sanitation, education, and the arts of medicine and surgery. Now you see the medical field has a lot now to play with this COVID-19. Sanitation, everywhere you go, they spraying you down, squirting things in your hands. Education, the schools has been shut down for how long now, right? There's no one properly being homeschooled. Uh, Teachers aren't even doing like live stream teachings to stay in touch with their students. They're not doing that shit. They look at this as one big fucking vacation. That's what they're doing. Okay, my little cousin, she be on the computer. There's no teacher live streaming to tell her anything. They just email her the work and tell her to do it. That's not learning, right? And this, yo, sanitation, education, and the arts of medicine and surgery. To name some of the lines of progress along which mankind has moved during the last century have essentially the same end. They endeavor to accomplish it by enabling each individual born in the world to develop the best that is in his nature, both of the body and of the mind, so that his life may be lived with satisfaction to himself and profit to the community, and that it may be unspoiled by accident or disease, and unhampered by ignorance or vice. At present, the best that is in his nature is often a poor thing. Eugenics aims at making it a little better by whatever means may prove practicable. In this, it differs from and goes farther than the agencies enumerated whose efforts it seeks to supplement, but not to supersede. Eugenists form no homogeneous sect or party, recognize no common leader, are confined to no country, and differ widely in their methods and beliefs. Now, this part right here is very important, where it is saying, eugenists form no homogeneous sect or party, recognize no common leader. This is why you can see Governor Cuomo, other governors openly defy the President of the United States Incorporated, because they don't recognize him as a leader, period. This is the mindset of a eugenist, and are confined to no country. Now, what they're trying to do is gut the Constitution. They're trying to segregate each state from the United States Incorporated. They're trying to back out of the vow, the pledge that they took to become United States. Okay, they want to back out, and they want to go back to the governor being the actual president of a state, and that's what it is. That's what they're trying to do. So, in order for them to do that, they have to kill, they have to gut the law that they're under, that they're governed under, which is their corporate law, the Constitution. That's that 1776. Okay? They have to gut the Articles of Confederacy. Okay? These things. They have to get rid of them. How do you get rid of them? By through terroristic acts, to getting the people to give up their own freedom, their own rights. Look, they got you playing stupid wearing a mask in 90-degree heat. People are exercising with a mask on in 90-degree heat, collapsing, dying, and then they saying that it's COVID. No, it was your stupidity to deprive yourself of oxygen in 90-degree heat. The mask causes oxygen deprivation. You think they don't know this? They know this, but they're eugenists. So if you're not going to comply, they're going to use the private policy force, which you call police officers, they're not law officers. They're not law enforcement. They are a private security firm, a private security company, the biggest in the world. That is what they are. Your policeman, your lawman is your sheriff. Anything outside of your sheriff is not a policeman or a lawman. They're policy officers, meaning that they work for a corporation. If you go and you look up, you'll see that the United States is a federal corporation. They try to take it down, but we still got the proof and we can show it. Okay? So they used a private security firm to beat you up every day to wear the mask, to ticket you, to find you, to go into these stores and say, hey, here's a ticket. That is not their job. It's not even in their job description to go into your store and ticket you for your customers. That's not their job description. And then when asked to show the law, they can't show the law. They only say, well, the governor said. Well, the governor's word is not law. The governor has to actually show the law. Otherwise, from that, they're committing crimes against humanity. Okay? Those are war crimes, treasonous acts. All right? So that's why this part was very important, right? Um, Recognize no common leader or confined to no country because they're trying to segregate from the head of the corporation. And differ widely in their methods and beliefs and differ widely in them. Now, one wants to give you a vaccine, and one is like F that. One wants you to wear a mask, and the other one is like F that. I'm not wearing no goddamn mask. All the leaders that's been telling you to wear a mask, they themselves don't wear a mask. Okay? But they appear to be present to the present writer to subscribe implicitly if not explicitly, to a common creed, which may be outlined as follows. Each individual, as he passes through life to its end in death, derives his active qualities at each moment, of whatever nature they may be, from the interaction of two separate yet not wholly independent causes. The one may be called his inborn potentiality or capacity for development, the other the environment or the mental, moral, and physical surroundings in which his life is spent. Now, we went over the definition of inborn, but for those who miss it, to show you what their agenda is. Their agenda is predominantly um, dark of you, brown of you people. Okay. Now, what is inborn? Let's show you what inborn is. All right. Now you're gonna start seeing like someone shared something with me today. They shared a sign with some Caucasian folks saying uh uh Caucasian indigenous Caucasians. Really, really. Okay. All right. This is to show you the plot, the agenda. Now when you type in Aboriginals, right? It used to be dark skinned people, brown of you, dark skinned people. Now you're seeing the most palest of peoples posing to be Aboriginals of lands that they're not from. All right, this is where they're heading with this. That should give you the indication that the whole plot, the whole agenda, is to erase a certain complexion of people from this planet. All right. They've already done it in Hawaii. I'm not going to keep saying that. I'm not going to stop saying that. I mean, like, not inborn, native to a place, indigenous, aboriginal, from, in, within, born, brought forth, of personal qualities in it, implanted by nature. By nature. Okay. Now, what is nature? Because we have to do this. So y'all can understand how deep this is to why they're destroying also the ecosystem and talk about this fake ass global warming. Late 13th century, restorative powers of the body. Late restorative powers of the body. bodily process, powers of growth, from Old French nature being principle of life, character is essence, from Latin natura, course of things, natural, characteristic, constitution, quality, the universe, literally birth, from, natus, born, past participle of the naski, to be born, give birth. All right, this is nature. Okay, this is all things that are natural. All right, by mid 14th century, as the forces or process of the material world, that which produces living things and maintains order. Okay, from late 14th century, as creation, the universe, also heredity. Pay attention to that word. Remember, I told y'all even the word heredity, hereditament. All right, inheritance. Pay attention to these words: birth, hereditary, circumstances, essential qualities, inherent. Another word, write these words down, people. Constitution, innate, disposition, as in human nature. Also, natural, personified, mother nature. Nature and nurturer have been paired and contrasted since Shakespeare's Tempest. I don't need to go no more into that, right? Let's go back here. Now, again, colonization is eugenics. You have a certain specific set of people that when they come to colonize, they come to wipe out. And in order to wipe you out, they have to get rid of everything else that's around you that you depended on to survive, which is the plants, the animals, these things. Then they had to take care of all, take control of all the food products. But goddamn, how am I to take control of all the food products? Well, they tricked you into becoming a part of their political system. All right. And again, this is why I say I will not be politically affiliated, to trick you to becoming a part of their political system. Once you became a part of their political system, you fell underneath their jurisdictional rule. When you fell underneath their jurisdictional rule, they trademarked, they patented all of your natural resources around you. They started regulating trade and commerce around you because now you became a part of their corporate structured system. The illusion. What did they do? They put a patent on names: cannabis, marijuana, ganja, weed. Then they said, "Oh, all that is illegal. You can no longer control that. You can no longer be in possession of these things." But they're making billions of dollars a year from it. Why? Because they trademark and patent the name. So when you get caught with it, it's not the product that they're locking you up for. They're really locking you up for the name that they trademark and product and patent, and you used it without their permission. Mind you, they didn't even come up with that name. Your ancestors did. It's an ancestral thing. Okay? But you became underneath their jurisdiction. So this is why they get away with these things. And then you became dummied down and stopped caring about what makes this world runs and operate and what these people are actually really doing. And you started partying. You started going to all these sports arenas. And you just cared about all the foo-foo bullshit. You started falling into the whole pro-black trap, the whole white nationalist trap, all this stuff. Okay? Which is why every time you're about to wake up, it's 500 years has passed now. This is the awakening of your ancestors, and they need to knock you to sleep and keep you asleep. So they hit you with all sorts of shit. Oh, COVID-19. Now they talk about is it malaria? It's coming from China now. Another major virus is going to come from China, and it's going to spread, and all sorts of stuff now. Because they need to keep your mind occupied on other things than what you need to be focused on, which is your nationality, proclaiming your indigenous nationality, you being of the original indigenous people of the American hemisphere. This over here is what they call heaven. This is the Holy Land. This land feeds the entire world. Okay? Oh, there he go talking that biblical shit. It's not biblical shit. It's factual. Majority of the world's food supply come from here. And then all the countries that's been starving and suffering that is profiting from what's happening here is telling you, oh, yeah, we have the world's food supply. Oh, yeah, over here is where it's at. No, it's not. They have more barren land than anything else. They have more wasteland than anything else. Over here, you cannot drive through over here and see a shitload of deserts. You're seeing nothing but green. And if you're not seeing green, that's because you know they chop down all them trees and build houses. That's a fact. We have the largest rainforest in the world, and they chop down over 10 billion acres of the rainforest already. What? And it's still the largest in the world. So it's asinine of you to think that the Eastern Hemisphere, what they now call the Eastern Hemisphere, have more food produces than we do. Okay? Eugenics is to get you to stop identifying with your ancestral identity so another breed of people can come proclaim it and wipe you out. And if they can't physically do it through warfare, they're going to breed you out. It takes 3 generations to water down the bloodline and to change the mentality of the people to get them to stop thinking ancestrally. That's why even Jamaicans that say, well, yes, we are Arawaks, but we are also mixed with African blood. But you don't, if that's the case, and your ancestors are mixed with African blood. So far, what I'm seeing in my stuff, mine's is not, but yours are. Why then do you still seek to push? Why do you not push Arawak and you only push Africa? African, African, African. Yes, Jamaicans are Africans. Now, when the census come around, they're going to have an African option on there, and even if they do have an Arawak option on there, I guarantee you, you're going to check off the African, and you're not going to check off the Arawak because you can only check one box, which means you just paper genocide an entire ancestral line. You see how that works? Not knowing that in the ancestral days, if you left from one side of the world and came to the other side of the world, and you met a woman that comes from here, from this what they call the Western Hemisphere, and you married her, you married into her culture. So that means the culture, the other side of your identity, does not exist over here. You identify as such over here. If you want to go back to the other side of the world, then when you're back there, you can identify with that. But once you're here, to keep up with the tribal traditions and stuff of here, of this side of the world, you take on the identity of the tribe that you married into. So miss me with, well, I'm African stuff. Then go over to Africa and be African. You know, I don't have nothing against our African brothers and sisters, but you can't take a Zulu and drop a Zulu into America and say you're Cherokee now. They're not having that shit. You can't take you can't be an American, go over there and have a child with a Zulu man and think that Zulu tribe is going to have your child identifying as American Indian. Are you what? It's not happening because you married into that tribe. That's what you identify as. Period. Now let's keep going. See, everything goes back to nature. Now you're getting to why the chemtrails. Now you're getting to why the polluting of the water. It was an attack on the descendants of the original people of the land, whether you are mixed or not. It was an attack on you. This is what they've been doing. Okay, and just for folks to know, the Democratic Party was the ones that re-engineered and redistributed back eugenics back into the world. The Democratic Party, right? Eugenics has been something that's been going on since the Moors of the Middle East and the Moors of Spain invaded the Americas. Those were dark skinned people. The Caucasians just took that script from their book and just started saying, all right, boom, 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 let's do this. It's a battle of race purity, survival. That's what they're doing, right? Not all of them is with it. All right, let's get back to here, to the book, to the book, to the book. All right, honor to everyone that's in the chat. Honor to you all. Honor. Okay. All right. Where were we? Okay. But they appear to the present writer to subscribe implicitly, if not explicitly, to a common creed, which may be outlined as follows. Each individual, as he passes through life to its end in death, derives in is his active qualities at each moment of whatever nature they may be from the interaction of two separate yet not wholly independent causes. The one may be called his inborn, which means aboriginal, indigenous, potentiality or capacity for development. The other, the environment, that's your surroundings. Okay, that's your surroundings. That's why the social distancing. They're tampering with your environment, your surrounding. Or the mental, now when you're social distancing, that plays a mental effect. This is why when those supposed Ashkenazis took chainsaws and cut the locks off the park's gate, because those are public property. The government can't close those off. Those are public property. Took the locks off the park's gate. They said their children need to be mentally stimulated, and to close down the parks and have their children do the 6 feet apart from each other was a play on their mental. That's something that will break them down psychologically and drive them crazy. And they're not going to do that to their children. So they chopped the locks off the park's gates and had their children go in and play. And you saw not one policy officer came in and touched none of them. You know why? You know why? Because they understand how to operate between public and private. That's why. You want to also know why? Because they run the private police business. You also want to know why? Because they identify with a nationality. It's not their nationality, but they still identify with it. All right. So for the development, the other, the environment, or the mental, moral, and physical surroundings in which his life is spent. This is why they call it social distance. The inborn, they're talking about the Negroes, right? Indigenous and Aboriginal always went back to Negro faces. Okay. Now we know the Americas was attacked before Australia in the invasion when they're saying Aboriginal people. Okay, so they emphasize Aboriginal to the Australians, but when you look in the dictionary's definition, it goes to being an American. All right, now here, let's do this. Okay, American noun, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. This word here, Europeans, is tricky because when you see Europeans, you're thinking pale faces. But when they're saying found here by the Europeans, they're talking about the Negroes of Europe or the Moors of Europe, okay, that came here and found the Negroes of America, meaning dark skinned folks of Europe came here and found dark skinned folks in the Americas, and they wanted what they had over here. So they decided, hey, we're going to chop down your numbers. Okay, we can't do it. Well, then what's going to happen is we're going to try to breed into your population. Thus, Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Okay, and hence you see the Caucasian took the pages out of the Negroes of Europe's book on colonization. All right. But with them, what they're doing now is they're trying to get rid of all brown and dark skinned folks, but they want your genetics, okay? Because we hold more of the natural components to survive in this hemisphere without any geoengineering of the environment, okay? But anyway, Aboriginal means American, and when you say Aborigines, Aboriginal, most folks automatically think of the dark-skinned Australians, but it's to show you that it goes beyond that. It comes back to the dark-skinned folks of the Americas. All right, people whom they now call Black and African American. All right, whom are the original American Indians. But hey, you got to do your genealogy. I can't just come and tell you that's who you are, who you are, who you are. Right. So yeah. Anywho, let's get back into this here. There was something else I was going to say, but I totally forgot. Anyway, the inborn potentiality may have a material basis in the chemical or mechanical constitution of the body. What I told you. So they talk about chemical and mechanical constitution of the body. They talk about your genetics, okay, or some part or parts of it, or may depend on some mysterious property of living matter unknown entirely to physical science, because they don't get it. They don't get it. We need form, no opinion of its ultimate nature, yet may agree that it is largely derived from a similar capacity, inherent, well, there goes all the word, so pay attention, inherent in the parents or ancestry. Now, this is why they work so hard to get you not to pay attention to your genealogy. This is why they created the fake ass DNA system when you're talking about, oh, I did ancestry DNA and it took me to the Fulani people over. It can't do that. Only thing that could do something like that is if you did your genealogy to follow the paper trail. What paper trails did your ancestors leave back behind so that you can know who they are? DNA, are you the father? Yes, I'm the father. Yes, are you the father? You are the father. It could do that. You want a DNA test for your child because everyone has like a specific genetic marker in them, okay, where they can tell if that's your child or not. Then yes, you are the father. But oh, you came from this specific tribe, right? It can't tell you that. That's why every time people was doing it, it kept giving them the different tribe and a different tribe and a different tribe. Anyway, so the inborn potentiality may have a material basis in the chemical or mechanical constitution of the body, or some part of parts of it, or may depend on some mysterious property of living matter, unknown entirely to physical science. They can't understand you, no matter how much they cut you open. We need form, no opinion of its ultimate nature, yet may agree that it is largely derived from a similar capacity inherent in the parents or ancestry. This is the true meaning of heredity. Now, this is why they have to get you away from your ancestry. Because when you realize that your ancestors are the original people of the Americas, that it is your inherent right to inherit what your parents have left behind for you, which is your ancestors, which means this land. Okay, so you are the heirs of this land. So now they have to re-educate you that you came all the way from across the world, because now it takes you away from your ancestry, your heredity, okay, your hereditament takes you away from that. All right. Then now, because you still exist physically, oh shit, what are we gonna do? They're gonna have to now find a way so that they could be attached to the land. So eugenics, they're gonna breed with you. Okay. So you produce a child, that child is of you, and the child is of them. But oh shit, now they have to get rid of you because you still know for some reason, so some point now that you still know that you still have the original attachments to the land. Even though the child is here, you who they probably would consider the full blood still have more say so. Okay. Now, oh, we got to get rid of you. Now we got to produce more mix. Oh, well, damn, the mixed ones are waking up too. Damn, we got to get rid of them too. Now we have to get the mixed ones to continue breeding back with the full bloods on our sides. Get the mixed female to breed back with the full Caucasian male or the full Asian male. get the mixed male to breed with the full Caucasian female, and in 3 generations they will be bred out. Eugenics. Then with those ones, they're now going to control who they now breed with, as far as when it comes to the full bloods now, right? Because those ones have that immunity, that immune system now that they got from you, the original people of the land. They got that immune system now in them, so they can be damn near immune to anything now. But the full bloods of their colonizing counterparts, they don't have that, because again, you are immune to the hemisphere in which you come from, and your child inherits that immunity. Okay, so the full blood ones, they don't have it. All right, so now they're going to want to breed now with the ones who they've pretty much turned to the one drop blood rule. Okay, so they're going to pick and choose which ones breed now with the full blooded ones of each family to boost the immunity of these elitist families. It's like when you're breeding dogs. You're not just going to breed any dog with your stud, right? You're not going to take any bitch and breed with the stud. You're going to take a particular stud with the bitch. No offense, females. It, it ain't for y'all. We're talking about dogs. That's the name of the female dog, and you're going to breed them together. Hopefully, you're going to say the dog is a producer. What does that mean? It means that it produces the best stock. What does that mean? That means that it has the best stock of the core foundation of the original ancestral dog in which it came from, that has the muscle mass, the brain mass, the immunity built into it. But what is the other dog going to do? Right? It's going to give it that what they call that exotic coat, that exotic look that you haven't seen before, that fawn look, that champagne look, that Merlot look to it. Okay, but the dog is going to be of good stock. What happens if the dog can't produce? They're going to get rid of it. They're going to make it sterile so that it can't produce anymore. Sterilization. So if you want to see the best form of eugenics, watch how dog breeders breed dogs. Okay. Yeah, Prince Harry and Meghan, they're cousins. They're cousins, but they picked the most distance of the bloodlines of that same lineage to mix together, to come back together. That's eugenics. They still want to keep it as pure as possible as they can. Sorry, Boogie, lay back down. So we need no form. We need we need form no opinion or its ultimate nature, yet may agree that it is largely derived from a similar capacity inherent in the parents or ancestry. This is the true meaning of heredity. What is heredity? Come on, folks. Come on now. Come on. 1530s. Inheritance, succession, from Middle French, from Old French, erudite, inheritance, legacy. See, your ancestors left behind a legacy. This is why they've been destroying the pyramids all throughout the Americas. Okay, and the ones that they couldn't destroy, what they've been doing is changing the imagery. All right, inheritance, legacy, from Latin hereditatum, heirship, inheritance, an inheritance condition of being an heir. You are the heirs of the Americas. Whether you are mixed or not, you have that original blood in you. You've become an heir of the Americas. Okay? Yeah, I get it. Let's get back out of that. Matter of fact, let's also do this. Because we have to do it. We gotta do it. Okay? We have to do it. Uh here. We're going to go into the law dictionary. The Bouvier never fails. One of the best law dictionaries out there to me. 1856, Bouvier. Pay attention. Heir, one born in lawful matrimony, who succeeds by descent and right of blood, okay, to lands, tenements, or hereditaments, being an estate of inheritance. It is an established rule of law that God alone can make an heir. All right. So who makes an heir? When you come together with a woman and you breed with that, and that woman breeds for you, you impregnate that woman. You've done created an heir. Okay. So again, right of blood to lands, heir. Right. So this is why the intermixing with you, because it gives that child a right to the land. It makes that child also an heir. Okay. And that child then will turn around and bring in the colonizing portion of his family that wants to colonize you and wipe you out. Okay. Now let's keep going. Heiress, a female heir to a person having an estate or inheritance. When there is more than one, they are called co-heirs or co-heirs. Heptarchy, the name of the kingdom of government established by the Saxons on their establishment in Britain, so called because it was composed of 7 kingdoms. The original Saxons were Negroes, people, of 7 kingdoms. Okay. This just gave me a clue to something. I'm not going to mention it right now, but I'm going to go dig into it. 7 kingdoms. All right. I see you. I see where they buried that at. Now, hereditament. Anything capable of being inherited, be it corporal or incorporeal, real, personal, or mixed, and including not only lands and everything thereon, but also heirlooms and certain furniture which by custom may descend to the heir, together with the land. Hereditary, that which is inherited. Come on, people. Eugenics is just about wiping out the folks who has the right to the lands, the real rights. Let's go back. Sister Amina Abdullah, honor, sister, honor. Hope all is well with you, sis. All right. We need form no opinion of its ultimate nature, yet may agree that it is largely derived from a similar capacity inherent in the parents or ancestry. This is the true meaning of heredity. We have no direct means of judging what potentialities are present in any individual case, but can only observe what active qualities of body or mind present themselves, and accordingly, the outward manifestation of heredity is the similarity shown between parents and children, ancestors and descendants. Okay, so you inherited all from your ancestors down to even their memory. It's just that because of all this pollution, all these things that they've been doing to you over the years, these experiments that they've been running on you, these polluted vaccines that they've been pumping in your system, these GMO foods, you got shut off from your ancestral memories. All right, and they know how to crack that sequence open and get into that. Okay, this is why we need to do the testing, the saliva testing. We know that they could clone you from a drop of spit. Why are you giving them your thing? Why are you letting them test you? Don't give them nothing. Nothing. We need blood samples. We need saliva samples. According to outward manifestation of heredity, is the similarity shown between parents and children, ancestors, manifestation. You see the word manifestation? Don't we manifest what we want to happen? Don't we put through that manifestation of what we want to accomplish and make it happen? Children, ancestors, and descendants. With regard to these, the inborn, which is the aboriginal potentiality has been called nature because we are natural beings. We go back to nature. We are natural. Okay? That's what that is. That's why you see the war on the rainforest. That's why you see them fought to push the North Dakota pipeline. They go against nature, everything that is natural. They need to create GMO stuff to make it seem like this is what's going to make you superior. But I don't have a superiority complex. I'm not compensating for nothing. I am fine. Okay? And I respect what the creator has given me, where the creator has put me. So to go against nature is to go against the creator, his or herself. Period. This is why these people can't tell you they're atheists or pretend to be religious. The inborn potentiality has been called nature, while the term nurture has been used to denote the environment which works on it as it unfolds into reconcilable qualities. Both these terms lack something in precision and have degenerated into catchwords. Yet, as there is nothing better to substitute for them, they will be used in the senses just defined. Senses, census. Eugenists differ from others who may equally have the good of mankind at heart, in that they assign a greater relative weight to nature. They believe that the greatest good of the greatest number may be achieved. You see how they're trying to make eugenics sound good, but it's not. It just means the end of you. That's what it means. There you go, putting back my chat down to 66 again. Uh, it is what it is. Let's see. Make sure that everything is going good. If you guys can hear me, press one. Press one if you guys can hear me. If the sound quality is good, just let me know. All right, cool, cool, cool. Okay. All right, thank you all. Let's keep going. Okay, so by selecting as far as possible the best that is provided by nature, told you, select. Here it goes. They took away natural selection. Like this is why they have so much social media apps on dating. Natural selection would be a man going up to a woman, getting that feel of the energy of that woman, speaking to that woman, and making a in person connection. They took away the in person connection. Now you have to put your traits, right? List it down on a computer, and people can lie on the computer just as how they can lie in person. Okay, that's what's so crazy. But at least in person, you could get a feel if the person is lying. If you know how to pick up on those type of things, right? On a computer, you can't. You hardly could get that feel. Okay, so okay, by selecting as far as possible the best that is provided by nature. Although that's why now on the computer you go on a dating site, you list certain things. A female, she don't like it. Oh no, I don't. That's not for me. Oh, there goes that listing right there. Oh, okay. They think that's the better stock person, right? Because they see something listed out on the computer, but they didn't meet that person in real life to grow, to get to learn to know that person. to share energies with that person. You see what I'm saying? Because you could have passed up on the love of your life for something that looked good on paper. All right? Fool's gold. Fool's gold. Also strive to the effect improvements in nature. They believe that if among men and women, those who are by nature better in mind and body, okay, the people of the American hemisphere, the American hemisphere Negroes are the most athletic people in the world. In mind and body, leave more progeny behind them than those who are worse. Mankind will enter into a continuous advance towards increased happiness. Now, what they started realizing that, when the Moors of Spain and them were intermixing, and they were intermixing going on, that the traits of certain full-blooded species of humans out there, that certain things that they lacked, it got drastically improved, increasingly dramatically. It drastically improved in what they were lacking, especially in immunity to nature and certain things like that. Now they realize, oh shoot, but the people of the Western Hemisphere, they are more athletic. They are more in brain capacity than the ones over here in the Eastern Hemisphere. Don't to get offended. The Greeks came to the Americas to learn, and when the Greeks learned from the Americas, they went back over into Europe and those places and educated the Eastern Hemisphere. This is how history really went. Well, how do you know that, Dark Man? Go research it, just like how I have, and you'll see. The Greeks learned. The Greeks' first stops were the islands. Their first classes and teachings were the islands. Okay? This is why in the movies they'll show the Library of Alexandria on an island. Okay? Then they came up into the mainland. And then they went back all the way to the Eastern Hemisphere and taught what they learned from over here. And those were the Negro Greece. Okay? All right. Where were we? So they believe that if among men and women, those who are by nature better in mind and body, leave more progeny behind. Now, what is progeny? All right, let's go. Progeny. Early 14th century, from Old French progeny, and directly from Latin progenies, descendants, offspring, lineage, race, family, from stem of progenere. Okay, now you have inheritant, heredity, okay, inborn. All right, pay attention now. Now I'm teaching you how to decode the codex as we go along, so that you can see that your governors and mayors are pushing a eugenics plan against you. Okay, let me get back to the thing. I was just reading this because this is something interesting. That's something else that I got to come back to for a later research. That's something else that I'm looking into right now. See, I'm finding stuff for my other research while I'm looking through these things right now as we go along. That shit is crazy. Just show you how everything is connected. I see why they fear this platform. The mind don't work like normal, like others' minds will work. This mind is not regular, but my mind is my own. Yeah, thank the creator. All right, so those who are by nature better in mind and body leave more progeny behind them than those who are worse. Mankind will enter into a continuous advance towards increased happiness. And this is why they got to kill your happiness, kill the economy, kill their happiness, keep them in consistent stress. Make sure that everywhere they go, we have our policy officers in their face. Get away, can't social distance. Even before that, oh, too many people hanging out on the corner right here. Move, keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. You can't stay still to get to know each other. Keep it moving, keep it moving. And they only did it in the Aborigine communities. Okay, and now an Aborigine community is also an intermixed community. All right. Continuous advance towards increased happiness. The enormous and indisputable changes produced by artificial selection in domestic animals. This is where they started from, the plants and the animals. And they brought it to you. And when they bring it to you, they don't bring it to the mainland first. They bring it to the island folks. Then they bring it over to the mainland. Like they're not scanning your faces now, but they're scanning people's faces and taking temperatures in the islands. That shit is fucking crazy. Artificial selection in domestic animals, as well as the incomprobably greater changes in wild animals, attributed by the Darwin theory to natural selection, are evidence of a weapon ready to be handed off him who can wield it. What they're saying is when you can change the genetic of the animals of nature, which is what you see the Chinese do. The other day, they claimed that they found an albino chimpanzee into the forest of India. They don't know where it came from. It just miraculously just landed there, and one day they just found it. I say they took a normal chimpanzee, tampered with the genetics, brought forth an albino chimpanzee, or what is a white chimpanzee, and they went and they dumped it into the forest and act like, oh, we just found it there. Okay? Just to say, oh, look what we found. Because again, you got to understand a lot of these environments, they don't like the ancestors which they come from, the darker view ancestors which they come from. So they've learned how to manipulate genetics. And this is what they're trying to do to you now here, right? This is what they're trying to do to the darker view people around the world and their mixed children around the world, all right? If you look, the Chinese have vast studies in genetic in interfering with the genetics of animals. They could take a black fox and turn it into the off and make it have offsprings of white foxes with blue eyes. Okay, and then they take these animals and they put them back out into the wild so that they could breed with the darker view version, and then that black fox and that white fox will then create a gray looking fox and a red fox. Okay, this is how you have the mixtures of different complexions of also some animals out there in nature. This is what they've been doing with people. Now, when you join these sororities and fraternities, they believe in the brown paper bag effect. They're going against natural selection, so they're teaching them how to breed out the natural them out of the genetic gene pool. Okay. Now, if y'all feel like I'm wrong, I'm gonna look in the chat. Tell me where I'm wrong on what I'm saying. Don't be afraid. Tell me where I'm wrong. Yeah, they do. They do. Like all the albinos know that they have Negro DNA. Okay, they know it. They're just ashamed for some reason. I don't know why they're ashamed of it. Okay, they know it. They know. It's not that they don't know. They know. All right, so let's keep going. The enormous and indisputable changes produced by artificial selection in domestic animals, as well as the incomparably greater changes in wild animals attributed by the Darwinian theory to natural selection, are evidence of a weapon ready to the hand of him who can wield it. And they're wielding that weapon right now. It's called eugenics. and they got their doctors out there that will back them on anything. The eugenist does not wish to follow blindly the methods employed either in the one case or the other, but rather to devise some course of action which is suited to human conditions. Now, what is devise? Let's go. Let's go back over here. And like Sly would say, let's use our educational tools. Educational tools. Devise. Early 13th century, to form, fashion, to plan, contrive, think, or study out, elaborate in the mind. Okay? Disperse in portions, arrange, plan, contrive. That's why they say stage one. And now we got to work in phase one, right? And now here comes phase two. We got to set back now. We can't reopen in phase three. We got to go back to phase two because this went wrong. Listen to how your governors are talking, man. It's eugenics talk. Listen to how they're talking. They devised a plan, and this is what they're working out right now. In portions, arrange, plan, contrive. You can't make this stuff up. To divide. To divide. Now, how are they dividing? Social distance. Social distance, 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. They divided you from each other. This is how you decode a eugenics book. Okay? This is it. Course of action suited. Okay, where are we? Okay, the eugenist does not wish to follow blindly the methods employed either in the one case or the other, but rather to devise some course of action which is suited to human conditions. Okay, as we know them, not to ride roughshod over the spiritual feelings and the aspiration of mankind. Remember, they shut down the churches, messing with the spirituality of mankind, but to take all into account and to seek a use for all. The foregoing remarks may be taken as roughly indicated and have roughly indicated what eugenics is in, so far as the word is used to denote a belief. Pay attention. Or rather, an ideal. As a belief, it is somewhat vague, and one which needs to be made much more definite before it can be translated into a practical policy, which is what your governors and your mayors have been working on right now. Policies, new policies. Policies. And what are they using as excuse for? The policy. The COVID-19, to bring forth these policies, which is not law. It is here that the science of eugenics must be called to our aid. Out of the policy, which is the triple six HR 666 bill is one of those policies. A science defined by Sir Francis Galton as the study of those agencies under social control, which may improve or impair the racial qualities of future generations, either physically or mentally. Can't make this shit up. Sir Francis Galton, let's read it again. As the study of those agencies under social control, social distancing, which may improve or impair the racial qualities of future generations. Look, the Negroes and the Caucasians are social distancing from each other. So what is the Caucasian going to do? The Caucasian man and woman is going to sleep with the Caucasian man and woman. They're going to get impregnated by their own people, which is improving their genetics. Not their genetics, their people, their species. It's boosting back the numbers of them. Okay? You now are the ones that they're looking to more so hit with this vaccine, because that's why they keep saying the African American community. The African American community is a And the poor Caucasian communities those are the ones they're going to hit. Okay, the Caucasian communities that have money, a high form of income, they're not going to hit them like that because they're considered to be high up on the totem pole of what they will tolerate as good stock. Pay attention. The word social control, social distancing, and Cuomo, social distance. So he's a eugenist. Social control should be taken to indicate that the practical bearing of the study must not be lost sight of. It has for its aim the discovery of means by which social control may be applied for the improvement of the race. What race is fucking Cuomo and Blasio in New York, these governors in California trying to fucking improve? With the social distancing. Ask yourselves this, people. Ask yourselves who's becoming a minority in certain areas, who used to have a lot of control and is losing it rapidly. These fake ass Ashkenazis, these Asians that came over here thinking that they were going to take everything. Let's keep going. Where are we? Greater changes in animals attributed Darwin. Okay, here we're. Galton study the study of those agencies on the social control, which may improve or impair the social qualities of future generations, either physically or mentally. The word social control should be taken to indicate that the practical bearing of the study must not be lost sight of. It has for its aim the discovery of means by which social control may be applied for the improvement of the race. If we were to limit ourselves too rigidly by the definition and in practice only to study agencies which we know to be under social control, which now is societies, people who are under social control. Little progress would be made, for we cannot tell until after the study has been completed. This is why they keep, oh, it's going to go till 2021, possibly 2050. Study has been completed. What natural laws or social reactions can be consciously controlled? Your social reactions. They got you social distancing. They're controlling your movement. They're controlling the very way you think. Can be consciously controlled by the individual or collective wills of any human group. The endeavor must be made to understand as completely as possible all those forces, whether they be customs, economic relations, habits of life, or bearers of death, which may affect the nature of these thousands who are daily born, either by altering for good or evil the qualities of individuals, or by increasing or diminishing the proportion of the better to the worse. Now we're going to go into let me I'm going to try to play the video, but I know they're going to interfere with it, so I'm going to pull it up. Also the audio on my phone so I can play it for you guys. This is Bill Gates. Okay. I told y'all, man, we have a lot and we are not even halfway through. This is not even halfway through the information that I have. All right. So even on this one, these few little pages right here, this might just be part one. And we come back with part two. But we're going to drop this Bill Gates audio. Let me see if I could find it. Give me a second, family. It is hot. It's hot. It's hot. One sec. Give me a second, y'all. I'm waiting for the screen to load up so I could get into my other set of links. But see that it's a lot of information, man. It's a lot of information, and you have to take it from learning the definitions of the words or into what you're reading. You see why it's important to read carefully, right? Because the in the live that we was doing with Corremeo, when I was reading some of those pages, I just picked up on some other things just now when I'm going over it back with you guys. And that's why I started using the going back into the dictionary to pull up certain things so that you guys can see. Okay? He said they keep asking Trump folks, spokeslady, why Trump don't wear a mask as per the CDC guidelines. Because the CDC guidelines on masks don't mean shit. Okay, Trump knows that. And because COVID-19 is not real, Trump knows that. People are dying from radiation poisoning. That's just what it is. People don't want to believe it, but hey, it is what it is. Trump ain't going to wear the mask neither because he knows what's going on. Now, if you read the box, the mask box, or if you do your due diligence and call the mask company and record them, don't let them know you're recording them. Call them and ask them if they mask can stop a airborne virus or a virus from you getting any form of viruses. If the mask stops COVID-19, ask them that. Ask them what are the ramifications of wearing the mask too long, okay? Because these masks, especially these surgical masks, are supposed to change them every 30 minutes. That's why when a doctor is operating, he changes gloves and mask like every 30 minutes. If the surgery is going to be a couple hours, y'all don't, yeah, you have to notice these things, people. Okay. Now ask them if the mask cause oxygen deprivation, also as well. All right. So this is this is what it is. COVID is another. Is a COVID is another, not micro. COVID is nano, not micro. There's no COVID-19. Let's just stick with it as that. There's no COVID-19. I have the entire dossier on the human coronavirus. There is no COVID-19. And this is 2020, right? So it goes through the mass process. Yes, that's true. Pores. Yes, that is true. Even if, but there is no COVID-19 in the air. Okay? It's and then listen, look, let me stop this for a minute. Let me just address this here. Because this is important for people to get. You cannot have an airborne virus. Something had to spray the virus, the sickness in the air. Now they told you that the virus is coming from you. So when you talk, if you cough, if you sneeze, then when you open your mouth and you're talking, right? Fluids come from your mouth. They say it comes from your fluids also. That means Cuomo and them says that it stays in the air for 3 hours now. So if you talk, the virus is in the air for 3 hours. So that's what they call an airborne virus. Okay. So if you're wearing the mask and you're breathing out and breathing in, you're inhaling and you're exhaling, you're inhaling back your own shit, your own virus. Okay. And if when you are eating at those outside diners that he says, okay, you can eat at the outside diner. Okay. You can eat at that outside diner. You taking the mask off your face, you're having a conversation. Oh, the virus in the air for 3 hours. People are walking by on the roadside. Not everyone is wearing a mask. That means, oh, they're going to get it. Right? If you're on the bus, if you're on the plane, you can't wear the mask on the plane because you're in a cabin. You need oxygen. So they don't make you wear the mask on the plane, but you're sitting next to another passenger. Where's the social distancing there? You see what I'm saying? COVID-19 isn't real, it's fake. Yeah, so when they talk about the COVID-19 numbers is rising, it's fucking people dying of oxygen deprivation for wearing a mask in 90-degree weather. Anyway, we're gonna pull up the Bill Gates audio. I think it's audio one. Let me see. I think it's this one. All right. Give me a second, y'all. Let me let my dog outside real quick. Let me pause this. She's been here waiting for a couple hours now. Oh. All right. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna give her like 5 minutes to come back in, and we'll continue. So just consider this a brief intermission. All right. Chat amongst yourselves in the chat real quick. Don't go anywhere. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Okay. All right. I'll just let her come back in her home. Let's get into it. Let's get it on. I just don't want no goddamn moths to come in here. All right, so here, where were we? All right, so I want y'all to hear this audio. All right, by Bill Gates. Well, let me try to do the screen share. Like, if they mess with the audio, because it was just playing flawlessly just now, then we know that they're tampering. Well, we already know that they're tampering with the thing. So let me do the screen share. Show you, he's a eugenist, and everyone that's pushing this COVID-19 thing is in his pockets. Fair use, fair use, fair use. This is from the Borgen Project.
Question.
See, they're messing with it. They're gonna mess with it. It's so hot.
This is a very important question to get right, because it was absolutely key for me. When our foundation first started up, it was focused on reproductive health. That was the main thing we did, because I thought, population growth in poor countries is the biggest problem they face. You've got to help mothers who want to limit family size have the tools and education to do that. That's the only thing that really counts. Well, then I came across articles that showed that the key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health. And that sounds paradoxical. You think, okay, better health means more kids, not less kids. Well, in fact...
Now, he's full of shit. Better health means more children. Okay? And what they found out is that in what they're calling third world countries, because they have more natural products, more holistic products, that their children are coming out more healthy. that they are more capable of producing children more than any other ethnic groups. Okay, now what makes a country poor? Now they said Haiti is one of the poorest countries, third world countries in the Americas, right? But Haiti has mountains of iridium that sells for $45 billion a ton. Haiti has that. Haiti has fields and mountains of gold, silver. Okay, Haiti has that. Haiti has an untapped oil wells. Haiti has that. So, do you consider Haiti to be poor? Why does Haiti don't have so much resources? Who's in the Haitians' waters? The United States Incorporated military that is sanctioning Haiti because they still have their sovereignty and they are not a part of none of these corporate backed entities. Give me a sec. Let me close my door. You know where your food and your water is. So yeah. So check out what's going on in Haiti. Haiti has the racist Dominicans on one side that don't like to be called Moreno because Moreno means that they have Haitian blood. Okay? That's oppressing them, right? Not just physically, but spiritually also as well, by knowing the fact that the reason why they're even on that side of the island is because the Haitians gave them refuge, and the most sacred spiritual spots for the Haitians, they took them over and they do voodoo rituals there to suppress the Haitian spiritual energy. That's a fact. And one day I'm going to show y'all that documentary that they did and talk about the Los Indios, the spirits of the Indians are upset and they don't go in the cave because they can't go in the cave. God damn it. Who's in the Haitians' waters? What are the Clintons doing in Haiti? They're not even supposed to be there. Haiti's sovereign. The Clintons are committing crimes against humanity just by being there. So it's not that Haiti is poor. Haiti has a corrupt government that's in the pockets of the major corporations that are suffocating and stifling the Haitian economy. Because what these corporations do, they go around and create other offshoot corporate entities and create contractual agreements with other corporate governments, and they boxed out Haiti to say that they're poor. So now people like Bill Gates could go and say, well, since you're poor, here's this birth control thing that we created, and you could take this and you take it one time and you will never have a child again for the rest of your life. That's what he's giving. That's population control. That's eugenics. The number one target for eugenics is Negro populated areas. I'm not saying nobody else isn't, but the number one targets. Hence, the Palestinians don't look like Palestinians of yesterday. They don't like the Palestinians today. The Saudi Arabians don't look like the Saudi Arabians of yesterday. China got rid of millions of their Negro Chinese in the 1800s and sent them all to the Americas. Okay? Kept back a few to harvest the genetics. Then have their laboratories where they don't even need you no more because they done collected a shitload of your genetical data from you, blood samples, saliva samples, hair samples, god damn it, where they could clone a you and use it as a harvesting thing to take out the genetics. Oh, he's talking about cloning, but China clones dogs by the hundreds and sell them back into the U.S. Go look it up. I'm not making this stuff up. You could clone a dog, you could clone a man, god damn it. Don't forget that sheep that they cloned back in the early 90s. You need to wake up and realize the world that you live in. They need your genetics to make substitute ewes for the harvest. Something that they can control. And sometimes they put some of them back out in general population in the world. And you're like, damn, what is wrong with this person? And you see them glitching, literally glitching on camera. Now they grow human organs in pigs. That's That's wide open and known in the scientific community. Okay, they could grow back a human ear on a rat. This is what they're doing. So when you hear Bill Gates talk about GMO food, yeah, I'm telling you, I got in for it. Now let's play this Gates thing. I'm going to give y'all the thing to that book. I don't think I'm gonna go any more into that book. I'm gonna give y'all the link to that book. All right. I'm going to give y'all a link to the Bill Gates thing, and then we're going to move on. All right, because I'm going to do a part 2 and 3. Okay. It's hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's hot. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up soon. But let's go. Let's continue playing it out.
What parents are doing is they're trying to have 2 kids survive to adulthood to take care of them. And so the more disease burden there is, the more kids they have to have that high probability. So there's a perfect correlation that as you improve health, within a half generation, the population growth rate goes down. In fact, Hans Rosling here at this conference, in 2 of my favorite speeches, actually showed that unbelievable correlation that population growth has gone down. Today, where is there high population growth? It's in the places with the worst health conditions, northern Nigeria, northern India. And so the 2 problems go exactly hand in hand.
Now, who remembered the live stream where Governor Cuomo's aide said northern New Jersey? Remember when she said that shit? Northern Jersey. Northern Jersey coming into New York because New York is predominantly Negro and interracially mixed. Remember when she said that shit? Now y'all getting it. Now you're getting it. And these countries aren't poor. It's just that people like him, men like him, that has influence, went and tampered with their system for years and years and years and destroyed the economy. Men like him that controls the military, whose money funds the military, and know that they can tell these military generals what to do. Okay? Put sanctions on those countries so that if they come out with their ships of groceries in the waters, the FDA that they created, here's where the FDA now is a weapon. The FDA don't mean nothing good. The Food and Drug Administration says, oh, no, we didn't pass that. That's not sanctioned to be passed to come into the waters. But they don't have no say-so what come and goes into the waters. And just need to pay attention. If you're on any corporate policy, then they have jurisdiction of the corporate entities. But if you are the indigenous man and woman, you are supposed to be traveling freely because anywhere the water touches is considered public property. So they can't rule over the public property. So what they do, they use the military ships, the National Guard, the Coast Guard ships in the waters to stop your ship from coming out of your port with the produces so that you could continue to have your economy striving. Okay? This is why you see them shutting down the businesses. Oh, we got to shut down the businesses. Shut it down. And what do they shut down? The mom and pop stores. The major box stores are still open. Why? Because they're funding this shit. Let's keep going.
If we improve health rapidly, we will get...
They're going to mess with it now.
The peak population to be as much as 1 billion below the current expected peak. That is about 8.3 billion versus 9.3.
So they're planning on getting rid of 3 billion of y'all. Can't make this stuff up. Let me get this link for you. Let me give y'all a link. Edward Snowden will be society. I want to play that. Let me close that out. I'm going to give you guys the link. That's the link to that video. Oh, let's go. We're going to play the other video of his right now. We're not playing no games here. All right, we're gonna bust down the next video of his right now. Let's see. What's the book? We're gonna read some more into the book. I just remember there's some more things that I wanted to point out to you guys in the book. I think it's linked to. There's a video where he was showing the charts of the birth rate of Africans and how their birth rate has skyrocketed, and how the young population.
There were lots of questions that came in.
How the young population is more younger African population, right, than there are Caucasian population. Bill Gates. And if it's not in this video, I'll find the video. I'll find the video in the next parts because I have it on my playlist. Anyway, this is a conversation
GMOs.
with Bill Gates.
People want to know how you balance.
Oh, and this is Bill Gates' own fucking channel.
Scarcity
This is Bill Gates' YouTube.
The concerns that many have around GMOs.
Right. So genetically modified organisms, that's where you create a new seed by using some biological approach that changes the gene. One example is
you see, they're trying to change your genetics. This is why in the book, it refers back to nature, the natural. Okay? This is all it is. Do you know how much hate they have to have for you to want to change your inside and out? That is pure hatred. Because why? It all goes back to who did the creator favored when the Great Spirit created all of this? What people first did the Great Spirit put up on this planet? Okay? Then now it goes back into generational hate. Who first invaded who? Who first enslaved who? You know, who did, and so on. It goes back into generational hate. Okay? He's a eugenist. And this is the man that you talk about wants to advocate for you to get the vaccine. He believes in population control. He don't believe in population increase. He believes a specific fraction of people in the population should be decreased. A specific ethnic group of people.
You can put a gene in that prevents the plant from getting disease. And so a disease that's wiping out the crops of poor people and causing tens of thousands to starve, you can get rid of that. The techniques we're using here were actually invented for human medicine. And in the case of human medicine, we don't have a total ban on all drugs that are created this way, nor do we have a total acceptance. What we do is each drug gets created, it's trialed.
How is a computer geek talking about GMO food and vaccinations and drugs? And he's also letting you know that it's what they're using to alter the genetics of the plants as a human drug. That means you're taking it and they're altering your genetics every time you take their medication. This is why they want to keep you away from the natural world. This is why they ban you. They ban and put certain herbs in their policies that you're not supposed to have it. Okay? This is why they regulate these things. All right? This is why. This is why they've been killing the herbalistic doctors. This is why they're in Colombia right now hunting down the chiefs of the tribes, the medicine men, and slaughtering them. This is why they've been burning down the Brazilian rainforest, okay, the Amazon. This is why they've been sending splinter cell agents of their people up into the mountains to the folks who actually have the real knowledge of the herbs so that you can't learn of this. Okay, this is why they create GMO food source, trees, plants, all right? Because the GMO food that they create, the fruit that you bite into, not only is it nutritional at some point, but it also has a disease hidden into it that you're also ingesting in your body to control the population. So a few years down the road, you're going to just drop dead and nobody knows why. Let's keep going. I told you, they have to alter nature and then alter you. And that's what they're doing. Because this environment is not for him. Okay?
This is for the original people of this land. His ancestry is not of this land. So you inherit things, everything from your ancestors, even their genetics.
And then each country has scientists who look at, okay, what are the benefits and what are the risks of that new drug, and they decide. And it's a very sophisticated system that's trying to maximize human welfare. For plants, it's going to be the same. That is, to a priori say, no, we don't want that seed that blocks disease, that's dooming the poorest to.
You know how stupid you have to be to believe what this man just said about creating a plant seed that blocks diseases? All plants, all natural plants is fully capable of boosting your immune system, okay? So that you don't catch no disease. They didn't have to create a seed to block diseases, because if they could create a seed to block a disease, they could also hide a disease in the seed. It's just like the vaccine making process. They were taking fetus embryos and taking their tissues to make the vaccines, to make these things that they're injecting back into you. So that means these GMO food products also have human genetics in them because it's lab made. Okay, let's keep going.
To never have this kind of tool. And it'd be ironic, since many of these advances are creating things like drought tolerance that poor people only need because rich people have been emitting so much CO2 that the climate conditions are worse for those poor people. Now, making sure that
you heard what he said? Yo, it's coming from the horse's mouth. Let's back it up. Yo, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this stuff up, people. Come on, man. Come on.
Much CO2 that the climate conditions are worse for those poor people.
So he's letting you know that rich people purposely polluted the air. Okay? Hence, him too. Okay? But because rich people can fly somewhere else around the world, go live on a mountaintop and take in real clean air, you can't. Right? And what makes people poor? When someone interferes with your economical structure, which is what their governors and their mayors are doing right now, interfering with the economical structure, putting the businesses out of business. So it's going to turn you poor. You can no longer provide for self. You're dependent on now the government to give you a stimulus check. How long will that last? Will it a $1,200 check? How long is it going to last for parents that have 7 to 8 children in a household? Come on now. Even 5 children in a household.
Now, making sure that there's that scientific depth so that they can analyze crop by crop, that's something that the foundation is helping to invest in, but each country will have its own decisions. And there are in the pipeline some fantastic crops that need to be looked at. You know, we have decades of experience where rich countries have used GMOs. Some countries like South Africa, Burkina Faso, Egypt are using some GMOs right now. But
you saw he backtracked. He says countries like South Africa, he's full of shit. They're not using GMOs out there like how you think. Remember, they try to regulate them to that they can no longer exchange seeds amongst the farmers, amongst each other in Africa. And this was in Northern Africa, not even South Africa. This was in Northern Africa, right? That they couldn't exchange seeds and so on and so, that they had to take on their GMO seeds, and the farmers burnt their GMO seeds and continue trading with their natural seeds. If I have this natural seed for this quinoa plant, why the hell would I take your lab tampered with quinoa seed? I don't know what you did with that. Africans believe in their own herbalistic cures and stuff for the most part. So they're not going to fully step out and accept none of the shit that he's talking about. Okay? So they're not with that GMO shit. That's why he couldn't clearly say it. He choked on his goddamn words. Let's go back to him choking on his words. Watch. He know he's lying.
Some GMOs right now, but the big wins are ones that come later, and each of those should be looked at as a special case, not ruled out or ruled in based on the general perception.
All right. Let me close this out. All right, so I'm gonna the next live tomorrow, part 2, when I do part 2 tomorrow, right? But let me go back to some more of this book. Let me go back to some more of the book. Okay. Let me hit back the screen share. Yeah, I'm gonna read through some more of the book for you guys, and then we're gonna do we'll close it out, and then we're gonna do part 2 tomorrow. All right. I gotta get some rest. I'm feeling it. I feel it. Screen share. Sorry, y'all. And I'm like when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to be on my A game. I don't want to slip. Okay. All right. So we're here. So if we were to limit ourselves too rigidly by the definition and the practice only to study agencies which we know to be under social control. And notice they said agencies, right? Now you're seeing that each state is a branch of a corporation. Each state, each city is a corporation. It is an agency, okay? Meaning it's a business. Under social control, little process would be made, for we cannot tell until after the study has been completed that natural laws or social reactions can be consciously controlled by the individual or collective wills of any human group. This is why they got you social distancing. You can't come together as a collective. And then when you do come together as a collective, they orchestrated that with that whole George Floyd shit. Okay. Anyway, the endeavor must be made to understand as completely as possible all those forces, whether they be customs, economic relations, habits of life, of bearers, of death, thousands who are daily born, either by altering for good or evil, altering the newborns for good or evil. Pay attention. They're telling you, man. For altering for good or evil the qualities of individuals, or by increasing or diminishing the proportion of the better to the worse. We are told by some that there is no science of eugenics, but those who say so either define the term in some special way or have not followed the work which has been done in the subject in recent years. A common dictionary definition of a science is that it is a department of knowledge reduced to system. Now, what is a department of knowledge? Because now from everyone is out there protesting, okay? Oh my God. When everyone was out there protesting, rioting, doing all these little foo-foo stuff, you couldn't get into the Register General's office, the county clerk's office, which holds the halls of records, the Library of Congress. They weren't letting you down into these places. Okay? To gain the knowledge of the history of the land, of the people, of you, of your ancestors, of your lineage. All right. And they burnt down some libraries. Key. Okay, so dictionary definition of science is that it is a department of knowledge reduced to system. But this definition neglects that the idea of growth and change, which are essential features of a living science, the knowledge must be systemized in such a way as to show where fresh material is needed and to facilitate its acquisition. That there is a science of eugenics in this sense can fairly be claimed, although it is merely a foundation built with borrowed capital. Now, borrowed capital. When colonization was taking place, they had to borrow money from the crown to make their trip over here to wage war with us here. That's borrowed capital. Okay? Which is to be paid back. Borrowed money from China. They borrowed from Russia. These are borrowed capitals. Okay, that there is a science of eugenics in this sense can fairly be claimed, although it is merely a foundation built with borrowed capital. But there is no mortgage on the building, no interest to pay, and no principal to refund. For wealth of this kind may be borrowed freely as often as it is wanted. Already many facts, inferences, and hypotheses have been placed in orderly array, and many problems have been defined, which, like the architect's plan, should guide the future labor of the builders. When they talk about that architect, man, they talk about that supreme architect, that grand architect that the Masons then be referring to it, that Masonic architect. It is the principal purpose of this volume to describe the former and define the latter in so far as it may be possible within the necessary limits. At the outset, it may be as well to pass in brief review the problems with which we have to deal. First among these comes heredity. Told ya. Remember we looked up that word, even went into the movie years. Look now. First among these comes heredity. The dictionary tells us this is the transmission of characters or qualities of parents to their offspring. That goes to the land. Okay, that also goes to the land. They also transferred the land onto their offspring, which is us. We are the offsprings of the ancestors of the Americas. Okay, we will not for the moment quarrel with this definition, although it is not in accordance with modern science. Views. It expressed roughly the older ideas on the subject and the popular opinion of the present day. Undoubtedly, heredity manifests itself in the apparent transmission of characters or qualities of parents to their children, and in consequence, two questions or groups of questions are raised. In the first place, to what extent and in what manner does this transmission occur, and what kind of characters or quality are transmitted? Secondly, by what mechanism is the transmission brought about? Heredity is placed first among the constituent parts of the science of eugenics. Pay attention, told you. We're going to stop it there, people. I'm going to give y'all this link, and tomorrow we're going to pick up from where we left off. All right, that's going to be page 15, where it starts off right here at heredity. Okay. I gotta get some rest, y'all. I've been running on. I gotta get some rest because, like I said, I went through a situation this week with some folks that I thought were really good friends, and it's just still something I can't believe that happened. So it's mentally draining, also. But here's the thing, and I don't want to slip. I want to be on point when I'm bringing this information to y'all, right? I want to be directly on point. I don't want my mind to stray. Okay. So trust me, I have a whole lot. It might be at least 5 series of information to drop for y'all. And it gets more deeper and deeper than this right here. And this is just 14, 15 out of the 15 pages out of only 25 pages that I marked from this book to read to you guys. And to go down into the definitions of what the words really mean, of what these folks are really saying. Okay. So this is just one book. I have a whole other one that I haven't touched on yet. Then I have a whole bunch of history of eugenics laws that was passed in the Americas. There goes something for y'all to go look into. I just gave y'all a clue. Okay. So we have a whole bunch to come back with y'all for. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna put let me put back the link again to the book in the chat right here. All right. Don't forget, y'all, check out the links that I put in the description box at the top of the comment section. Don't forget to check out the GoFundMe for the West Indian Tribal Society. All right. The West Indian Tribal Society is to represent the Indians of the Western Hemisphere, which is the entire Americas. All right. Again, we have the website coming. We got 1 or 2 things left, and then I'm working currently on the page to drop information on the page so that you guys can go and possibly if you need to check out any books, you need to check out any files, any documents, it will be on the website. What else? We have a whole bunch of stuff coming, man. We're still trying to get even if it's like a little over halfway, so that we could send brother Alex and sister Malkia down into South America to acquire certain stuff, information, knowledge, also with the herbs, okay, so that we could also create a seed bank, because as you can see what is going on now today, so that we can produce seeds, so that we can be able to produce seeds throughout the Americas of these natural products, these natural seeds, so that you won't have to depend on GMO seeds, okay? This is what it's for, so that we can also educate you on the herbs properly, spices, these things, bring more knowledge of the history of the Americas also to you guys as well. All right, so when you can, just check out the description box. I'm going to post it in the top of the comment section. Check out the GoFundMe. Again, if you don't have it to donate to the GoFundMe, we just ask that you hit this email up right here, all right, which is, let me type it in. Forgive me, y'all. I'm a one-finger typer. All right. Again, we ask just if you could send in a 30-second video to a 1-minute video, of you letting the world know that you are indigenous to the Americas and that you are of American Indian stock, okay? That you are not Black or African American as they call you, that you are the original Aborigines, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Indigene, whatever, you're the original people of the Americas, okay? Whether you come from the Caribbean or the West Indies, that's all the Americas, folks, all right? So that you are that. If you still have ties to even the Hawaiian Islands, let it be known, because what they're trying to do, they're trying to segregate Hawaii from the rest of the Americas, because they bred out the indigenous population, so it seems. Okay, so yeah, so we just want to let it be known that you're still here. It is a video. You have to show what you look like, so that folks can know that the Negro population that they're wrongfully classifying as African Americans are indeed the original people of the land. Well, I mean, if you don't want to show your face, I guess that's fine if you want to do an audio, but the whole thing is to so that people can see that you're not extinct, you're still here, you know? So yeah. But so that's the email, West Indian Tribal Society at gmail.com. All right. I don't what Kamali, what Kamali. Name seems familiar. But anyway, what so just tell me what really don't you understand? I'll give you a little I'll give you 2 minutes right now. If you what really don't you understand? Right? To type it in. Tell me what you really don't understand before I go. But just I got the links to the coronavirus file, the coronavirus act, the acts. They're in also in the description box. All right. So yeah, so download as much of the info as you can, folks, before they start getting rid of these links and deleting them. All right. I guess you don't have nothing to say. All right, then you don't got nothing to say. All right. I do also have new t-shirts on the Teespring store also as well. But again, like I said, like if you don't have it to donate and stuff, just if you can make that video for us and email it to West Indian Tribal Society at gmail.com. If you got questions to ask about genealogy, also, you're looking to get your genealogy done. That's the Gmail. That's the Gmail to also contact as well. That Gmail also. Yeah, right. And that's it right there. Like I said, the website is coming. The website is definitely coming, y'all, and it's gonna take time. With that being said, I'm out of here. I say peace. I'd rather do an audio, not show my face. Truthfully, it defeats the purpose. If that's the case, I mean, you could do the audio, but we're doing videos. I'm going to be honest with you. We're doing videos because it's public record, right? It's a video declaration as to whom you are. All right. So, yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess we could make a section for audio, but it's really for video to show that the people who they're classifying as Black and African American are coming out to let the world know that they are descendants of the original American Indians of the Americas. That's what that is for. The audio defeats the purpose. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. We're doing videos, but it's a thought that counts, and we thank you. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. So again, part 2, same time tomorrow. I'll be doing part 2, and part 3, same time the day after that. I'll be doing part 3, and Monday will be 4 and 5. All right, because this is deep. That's all I can say. This is deep. All right, so Tim Buck, son of Papoose, Copper Hot Step, honor to you. Tim Buck, son of Papoose, thank you. Sister Cherokee Talute, honor to you. Guac Kamali, honor to you. Stephen Redclay, honor to you. Okay, Stephen Redclay. Freeman Hawachua Lamar, honor to you. Wait, you said say it again. What would you want me to explain? So let me know. I will show my. Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. And to everyone that joined us, man, Princess High, Royal T, Tarpet, Maven Omega, who else? American Indian Inky Land, Kay Lee, honor everyone. Anthony Gibson, Alex Anthorn, Warmington, Honor. All right, y'all. We're out of here.